Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Briana Evigan on the line, and she's CEO and co-founder over at Abundant Village. Briana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, Briana, so we got a lot to talk about today, so we're going to get into your journey and, of course, for going from America to Africa, Hollywood to philanthropy, and talk about your mission and what you're up to, and, of course, get into Abundant Village, your company, and have some fun there. And just to get us kicked off, we'll start this episode the way that we like to start them all, with what we call our Mission Matters Minute. So, Briana, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, for executives, for experts. That's our mission. Briana, what mission matters to you?
Healing humans so that we can heal animals and the planet.
Love bringing mission-based individuals on the line to share, what they're up to and really what they're doing to make a difference so we can all learn from that and grow. So let's dive right into Abundant Village. Maybe start with a little bit about the organization and how I see the title co-founder. So how you founded it?
Yes. So I grew up in Los Angeles and I started off as an actor, dancer, musician, did the Step Up franchise, a bunch of other films and shows. And I basically ended up at an all-time low when I was around 25. And had 3 consecutive dreams about Bali, took off, went with a backpack, no end game, and I ended up riding on the back of an elephant, and I discovered the abuse of elephants in tourism camps, and that we were breaking them and hurting them for human consumption. I was a part of it. So I was actually at the height of my career. Everything was looking good from the outside, but I was just really low and empty, and I knew there was something else out there. And I found out about the poaching crisis, and I started taking trips to Africa, trekked with the mountain gorillas. Just spent a lot of time in the wild, and I saw a baby elephant die in a poacher snare trap. And she taught me thank you for that first question. That mission is, if you don't heal humans, you won't be able to heal animals, let alone the planet. And that is what birthed Abundant Village for me.
And thank you for sharing that story. It's interesting to me. I'm always a big fan of when someone has experiences and they translate that into a business or into a company, into something that they're going to spend a significant amount of their life and their time on. How did you know that this was going to be like a calling, like Abundant Village, and also go into exactly what you do?
Yeah, so, I don't know. I really had to trust. It was kind of a scary time. I mean, I was developing an anti-poaching film. I was still trying to stay in the storytelling world. Also started a company called Move Me Studio, thinking, I got to stay with the stories because that's my background. And then during the pandemic, I took off. I moved there with my dog to South Africa, and I took the leap. I put all of my money into both companies, started doing documentaries first, and started following the path and meeting these real people and following in the footsteps of others to find out their stories. And it was a leap of faith, and it's working. It's really been a successful year and a half for us.
So talk to me about the year. So what's taking place?
So we became a 501c3 last April. We put on these big trips where people come out and they get to have these cultural immersions and experience everything on the ground. So that's community development work. And of course, in a minute, I'll tell you about what Abundant Village actually is. But it works. Everybody comes out and works on the actual builds. And then we drop people into these experiences with animal and wildlife so that you can really see the connection of humans and the natural world. These trips and building out Abundant Village and what we do on the grounds and connecting people. I also ended up married, had a child, got 2 stepkids all in 1 year. And now I actually live in Zimbabwe full time. And I travel around a lot for fundraising, obviously, and connecting and humans and expanding the projects. But that's kind of a bit of what's been going on the last year and bringing in those funds to make sure these projects are moving.
And so what does that look like? Talk to me about the fundraising, what the funds are used for, go into the business piece.
So I usually for tonight, for example, we'll be doing a screening. I'm in Santa Barbara. We do a screening. I do a talk before or after, which is a whole presentation sharing what got me from America to Africa. And then I share the Abundant Village model and how we want to scale and repeat this around the world and share stories of the people on the ground and bring those over here so that people want to invest. Obviously, not only in trusting me that I'm leading this, but trusting the projects that we're running and the people on the other side of the world.
You mentioned the Abundant Village model. Talk to me about the model.
Yeah, so we partner with local communities to co-create solutions that improve, daily life and protecting the natural world. We always say it's the human face of conservation. So we're regenerating lives, livelihoods, and ecosystems. And we work where social need and environmental pressures overlap. So, we focus with communities that are living within or along ecosystems, deliver education, healthcare, clean water, energy, local employment, and food gardens, because food and water are obviously the most important things for people that are in survival mode. Every place that we work, you have to, if you want to protect an ecosystem, you have to work with the communities within it. And the model is donor launched, revenue sustained, and locally led. So how do we create these ways of regenerative revenue streams so that these villages can be self-sustaining in the end? We're not going to leave. We're going to always oversee everything, launch it, but we want them to be able to maintain it and run it, of course.
So I know one of the things that you talk about is, especially being, boots on the ground and working in the villages, is that, it's a two-way learning street, right? What have you learned? What have the villages, working in these villages, taught you about, healing or the planet, or just in general? What have you learned?
I mean, so much. To start, in a way, what they've taught me is quite simple in a way, but then the deep side of it is that the depth of showing up for one another, how people, they laugh even on their hardest days, how community can actually become a medicine for people, that things are contagious in the area. It becomes a ripple effect of doing good when something happens. Like, for example, we built a hempcrete kitchen, and we wanted to eliminate smoke because smoke is the third leading cause of death to women and children throughout several countries in Africa. And at first we thought we were, what we were doing, and then we saw what was actually happening. And they taught me about that cycle of well-being and what happens when everybody goes home and how they're treated and how the disease and these things just start decreasing immediately. And they're coming back happy, and they're coming back with ideas, and they're, we're in this co-creation mode all the time. They've really taught me that too, the co-creating, the importance of that this is theirs, not ours. It needs to be, they need to have the ownership and take that ownership. And God, they've taught me like this level of peace watching them all too. There's just this slow down thing that happens out there. And a reminder to just take your time and actually just be, which I think is a difficult thing for us all to do and that we're always working on,
Yeah. Another thing you're known for is talking in conservation, as we've been having this conversation, the human face of conservation, the human face of conservation. What does that phrase mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, I mentioned a little bit about it, but I think it's remembering that every ecosystem starts with the people who live closest to it. The people that wake up inside of it, raise their children there. As I said, you can't protect an ecosystem if you don't work with the community. So you must meet those basic human needs. And once those are met, that's when people have the opportunity to dream. That's when real connection happens. Sitting down and looking someone in the eyes, learning their story, realizing healing. The planet actually begins with healing ourselves, the communities. Those relationships we have with land, ocean, and also I think nature mirrors us back every time. So it must.
And this is a family business, right? Like, I understand you travel with family too. Like, how cool is that?
I love it. I know my baby's downstairs. I was wondering if you're going to start hearing some noise. Well, baby, he's almost 3.5. So it's actually going to become more than that, because my husband, as today publicly, has announced that he's joined our organization, and now we're all doing this together. He started Akashinga, which is the all-female anti-poaching units protecting 13 million acres of land across the continent of Africa. And it's a beast. It's a mini empire that is just one of the most beautiful organizations I've ever gotten to witness. And we're so proud to have him, and he's going to help us scale quite quickly, we believe. And he's, again, with this flying we have, he's Mr. Conservation. I'm Miss into human healing. So the human face, of conservation now is making a lot of sense of how we're going to divide and conquer this together. And our child is just like the mascot. He's the mascot.
That's
Everybody's
awesome.
like, what is that kid? He makes you fall in love with him. He's special. It's like, he's so much fun. So, yeah, and it's those little moments in him that drive us even further, I think, into the work that we love. And whether it's the little, I love you, or oh, this is so beautiful, or whatever it may be, I'm just like, you are the reason. You guys, it's, everyone always says it's the generation for tomorrow. It's like, no, it's today. This is happening now. The stuff we're dealing with the planet, it's happening right now in our time.
Yeah.
So I want my kids to be telling these stories, and I want to leave something, obviously amazing for him and my stepkids, all of them. But they're getting to grow up inside of this. We get to show them what community, courage, connection, and all this really looks like.
Yeah. Tell me about your vision for the future. Like where does this go?
Yeah. So currently it's called Abundant Blue. So that's what we're stepping into next, which is going to be oceans. So my husband and I really, really miss living by the ocean. We live in Zimbabwe in a landlocked country. So we're heading towards the ocean, Indian Ocean, whether it's going to be Tanzania and Zanzibar or, Indonesia, I think at some point we're going to be in both. We want to start coral restoration and really get in. The ocean makes up such a huge part of the world. Why would we not be there? And then the other side is abundant green, which would be the Amazon, right? So we've got these huge ecosystems that we really want to start bringing Abundant Village in and partner with others already doing good work there so that we can be the social impact division that does the social work for them. Because a lot of people, they run out of time for this sort of work. And it is the deep human work. So whether we're bringing, a well-being center, a new kitchen, refurbishing school, classrooms, programming on mental well-being, a labyrinth for mental well-being, all the different things that are kind of in what we do. We ask communities, listen, what do you want? What do you need? What are the challenges? And let's co-create this together.
How do people get involved? Like, how do they help? How do they get involved? Like, what do you need?
So you can visit our website, abundantvillage.world. Everything's in there. You can also, reach out to us if you've got connections or networking opportunities or relationships when it comes to, say, energy, right? That's always a real tough thing in Africa, finding those solutions to power things, and they don't have a lot of power going on over there. And then, obviously, learn about us, reach out. There's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, and it's all under Abundant Village. And then my personal is Briana Evigan. So anything, obviously, through my channel is going to drive you to those too. But, read about it, watch our documentaries. They're on Abundant Village YouTube page. And learn about us. And one of my favorite things, as I said, it's meeting people now.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Briana, this has been great having you on the show today, and I'm happy to bring this information about Abundant Village to my audience. And I know you left it once, but I want you to leave it one more time. How do people connect? How do they help out?
So people connect by visiting any of our social pages, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Abundant Village, as well as watching the documentaries on YouTube. Also, Briana Evigan, my personal ones. And obviously, donations are always welcome. As I said, we had donor launch. And then helping us with any ideas, networking people that you think might be interested in what we're up to. And yeah, I love connecting with people. So that would be the start for me.
Fantastic. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can just click on the links and head right on over and check out Abundant Village. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show, each and every day bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Briana, thanks again for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Adam. Thanks, guys.